So, what's the true cost of living in Westchester? Well, when we talk about cost of living, we usually talk about how much it costs to live here compared to other places around the country, like Tampa, Florida, or Dubuque, Iowa, or Albuquerque, New Mexico. But I think it's important for us to know how much does it cost here. How much does it cost to buy everyday items like eggs and milk and bread and peanut butter and coffee and beer? So today I'm going to do a little experiment, and I'm going to visit 3 different supermarkets in 3 different communities around the county to see how much these items cost. First, I'm going to start here at Wegmans in Harrison. Then I'm going to go to ShopRite on Central Avenue in Scarsdale. And finally, I'm going to go to Whole Foods at Ridge Hill in Yonkers to see how much these items cost. So, are you ready to go shopping? Let's go. If this is your first time at this channel and you want to know everything about eating, sleeping, working, playing, and living in Westchester, the good and the bad, then please click the subscribe button below and the little bell next to it to be the first to know about what's going on around here. And if you watch till the end, I'll show you my favorite way to find the lowest gas prices no matter where you are without having to drive from station to station. I'm Bill D'Ambrosio of Rand Realty, and I work with people just like you every day who live in Westchester or are thinking of moving here. And I absolutely love it. So, if you're thinking of moving here or you're having any thoughts about selling your house, buying a house, or investing in real estate, I'd love to help you in any way I can. So please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. My info is in the description below. Now let's look at the true cost of living in Westchester. We're going to look at the regular prices, not the store sale prices, because those are usually one-off offers. So, let's go check out the prices. I started with eggs, specifically Eggland's Best, because it seems to be a pretty popular brand around here. At Wegmans, a dozen extra-large eggs cost $3.99. At ShopRite on Central Avenue in Scarsdale, a dozen extra-large Eggland's Best eggs also cost $3.99. And at Whole Foods at Ridge Hill in Yonkers, I found out they don't carry Eggland's Best. So I looked around and I found the brand that I felt was closest, and that's called Pete & Jerry's. And yes, they're organic, but I couldn't find any non-organic extra-large eggs at Whole Foods. As you can see, they're out of stock, but a dozen costs $6.29. That's $2.30 more than both Wegmans and ShopRite. Next, I looked at a gallon of 2% milk in all 3 stores. At Wegmans, a gallon cost $3.69. At ShopRite, it was $4.29. And at Whole Foods, it was also $4.29. So Wegmans was 60 cents cheaper than both ShopRite and Whole Foods. On to the bread. I went with Arnold's multigrain bread because I seem to see it everywhere. At Wegmans, a loaf was $3.99. At ShopRite, it was $4.69. And at Whole Foods, well, they didn't have Arnold's. But the closest I found was their store brand multigrain bread, and that was $3.99 a loaf. So ShopRite was 70 cents more expensive than both Wegmans and Whole Foods for multigrain bread. Next up, peanut butter. I went with Peter Pan peanut butter. Yes, I know it's not as popular as Skippy or Jif, but I wanted to see how these stores would price a less popular brand. At Wegmans, it was $2.39. At ShopRite, it was $2.99. And at Whole Foods, well, they didn't have Peter Pan or Skippy or Jif. But I felt the closest that they did have was their store brand, and that was $2.49. So ShopRite was more expensive by 50 and 60 cents than the other 2 stores. Then I checked out coffee, and I went with Starbucks House Blend because what's more popular than Starbucks, right? They're everywhere. At Wegmans, 12 ounces of Starbucks House Blend was $9.49. At ShopRite, it was $8.39. That's $1.10 less. And at Whole Foods, well, they didn't have Starbucks, but the brand I felt was closest was Peet's Coffee. And Peet's House Blend was, get this, $11.99. That's $3.60 more than ShopRite and $2.50 more than Wegmans. Oh, I almost forgot. Beer. I went with a 12-pack of bottles of a basic American beer, and you can't get any more basic than Bud. At Wegmans, a 12-pack of Bud cost $11.99. At ShopRite, it was also $11.99. And at Whole Foods, well, once again, they didn't have exactly what I was looking for. The closest they had was a 12-pack of Miller High Life, the champagne of bottled beers, and that was $10.99, a dollar less than the other two stores. I have to be honest, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so let's total up our grocery bills. At Wegmans, our 6 items cost $35.54. At ShopRite, our bill was $36.34. That's 80 cents more. And at Whole Foods, our grocery bill was $40.04. That's $4.50 more than Wegmans and $3.70 more than ShopRite. To put it another way, it's almost 13% more than Wegmans and 10% more than ShopRite. Well, there's our true cost of living experiment for here in Westchester. So, what do you think? What are the prices like where you live? Please let us know in the comments below. Oh, and I promise you that if you watched until the end, I'd show you my favorite way to find the lowest gas prices wherever you are without having to drive from station to station. And here it is. It's an app called GasBuddy, and it's free. I've been using this for the past few years, and I love it. It's really pretty accurate. All you do is put in your location, and it'll show you the prices of local stations. You could sort by price, proximity, or both. Then, all you do is you go to the station, get your gas, and pay in the normal way that you would. You could find GasBuddy on both the App Store and Google Play. Now, I have no affiliation with this app. I just think it's a really cool way to find the lowest gas prices wherever you are. So, go check out GasBuddy. If you found value in this video, please click the subscribe button below and the little bell next to it to be the first to know about what's happening in Westchester. And please like and share it. And if you're thinking of moving to Westchester or having any thoughts of selling your house, buying a house, or investing in real estate, I'd love to help you in any way I can. So please give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. My contact info is in the description below. I'm Bill D'Ambrosio of Rand Realty, and this is Living in Westchester. Until next week, I'll see you around the county.